Hello, this is Brother Johnny Williams again. First of all, let me apologize to my followers. I'm having difficulties with my video equipment. So I'm going to get right back into the second part of my sermon, which is fornication and adultery. As I said at the close of the first video, I was in a discussion with a few men, some young, some old, and we were talking about fornication and adultery and the difference between. Still, they go hand in hand, but there's a difference. We're going to start with adultery. Okay, adultery is engaging in any other kind of relationship or activities outside of marriage. Okay, again, marriage is ordained by God, and you're only supposed to have one wife, and all things dealing with relationships. I don't want to use any vulgarity here, but any kind of sexual relationships are only supposed to be with your wife. And again, anything outside of that is adulterous. And by God's law, that is the only relief from a marriage, by adultery. Now, let's get into fornication. One of the young men was asking me about, well, I'm not married, so I don't see anything wrong with me having relationships with several women. I said, well, let me correct you there. That is called fornication. Again, any kind of relations that should happen between man and woman, it should be reserved for marriage. Now, you know, we're young, and a lot of times we make mistakes. I'm pretty sure a lot of you have made them. I've made them. But we can be forgiven for our mistakes as long as we just don't continually, keep doing it, because then you're not being faithful, you're not being sincere in your prayers to the Lord about forgiveness. But getting back to fornication, I want to tell this young man, I said, well, let me bring up a good point here for you. I said, okay, just say you're in a relationship with this young lady, that young lady, that young lady. As a result, what if children come into the picture? Okay, and let's just jump forward. Years later, you get married, and what if your wife wants children? Okay, now you have children on the outside here, and you're still responsible for those children. You're their father. That could cause a bit of a problem, especially with your wife. Now, any wife, her household comes first. Not trying to take anything away from your responsibility to your outside children, but your household comes first, and it should. So that right there in itself is going to cause some kind of tension between you and your wife. I see it all the time. All kinds of problems arise from outside children. You have to pay child support. The outside lady may want you to spend time with your children. Now going back, these are things that you should have thought of before you engaged in these activities. Just bringing up a point of things that may happen as a result of fornication. Okay. And again, I'm going to drive it in and go back. Any kind of sexual relations are reserved for marriage. That's why it is. Now, you're married, and you're starting to have children. Another thing that crops up is these children have brothers and sisters and, on the outside. And at some point, they're going to want to know their brothers and their sisters. Or to drive that point home even further, as they say, to drive nail in a little deeper. What if they don't know their brother or their sister as a result of your fornication? And one day you're sitting at home, and lo and behold, he has some young lady, or she has some young man at the house that's actually related to her, and she doesn't know. It may sound drastic, but I've seen these things happen. And it goes all the way back to a direct result of sex outside of marriage. Believe me, you really don't want to have that type of problem, and you're a married man. Now, young men, again, I know it's kind of hard not to or stop doing something that's good to you. Well, let me put it this way: everything that's good to you is not good for you, and sometimes while it's good to you, you don't see the ramifications or things that may arise from something that you are partaking of that's good to you. Again, that is why it is so very important for fathers and mothers, again, and here it is again, work with your children. Put the fear of God in them, the knowledge of God in them at an early age. So these things may not arise because they are forearmed, they are forewarned, and they stand a better chance of being more successful in a relationship and everything else, which is, again, our goal as parents. But let me get off of that and get back into teaching here. Now, I just said a few minutes ago, it is hard to stop doing something that you are used to doing. It's kind of like eating oranges and apples or peaches or anything like that. I'm pretty sure some of you have partaked of peaches when they're fully ripened. It tastes pretty good. And sometimes you want to keep eating them. As I said, partake, but eating them until you get your fill. Now, sometimes when you eat so much of something, it'll make you sick. I mean, you got to know when to stop. Mothers, I'll use your daughters, I'll refer to them as trees. You teach them to be careful who you let partake of your fruit. Let the fruit stay on the vine until it's fully ripened. Therefore, when you do pick it, you get the full flavor of the fruit. If you follow what I'm saying. Again, not trying to be vulgar, but I'm trying to put it in a way that people can assimilate this or take it in. If you pick a fruit before it's ripe, again, I'll use a peach. When the peach is on the tree and it's not ripe, it's real firm. It's hard. You bite into it, it's green and it's got a sour taste. That means it's not ready to be picked. Okay? Let it stay there until it's ripe. Young men, let's make sure that we listen to our adults, our elders, about certain things, especially when I'm talking to young men about manly things. That's why I tell fathers, talk to your young men, instruct them, guide them in the things of the world. We're God-fearing people and we're spiritual people, but we still live in a world with all kinds of things that happen out there every day. And again, if you forewarn your children, or in this case, your young men, they may still going to be hard-headed about certain things. I know I was, but the knowledge was there because my people or my parents instilled it in me, and even though I still did wrong, the knowledge was still there, and I was able to sidestep certain things. And especially with young men, it's a growing problem when you consider yourself. This is very important. Again, very, very, very And before you let the words come out of your mouth that I am a man, you need to understand what a man is. You know, a man doesn't just look at women as objects of desire or sex. You know, a man looks at a woman the way she's supposed to be looked at. She's to be treated with respect at all times. And I hear this word a lot, you know, she's my queen. Well, treat her as your queen, because in reality, that's what she is. She's to be respected at all times. Now, you know, I know I don't. I wouldn't want a woman that would let me do what I want to do when I get ready to do it. And you can just about ask any man. I don't care what kind of a front he puts on, a show he puts on. He respects his woman. I know I'm very fearful of the Lord. And second comes my wife. I'm the scariest thing in the world to me. And I'll tell you why I fear my wife, because I know it would be very miserable without her. I've learned to depend on my wife in every way, and I think any man should depend on his wife the same way I do. You know, when I'm places and I be speaking, or I look out and I see my wife, she strengthens me. I can feel it. Now when I'm in the scriptures, I get excited when I go to teaching the scriptures or speaking to people about the scriptures and how you're supposed to live. Again, very excited. I can't wait until my next sermon. And I hope my followers, I hope you can't wait. I sincerely mean that. Now, again, I don't want to ramble on here. And in closing here, I'll say, I am a person that combines preaching and teaching. I take it very seriously. And I want my followers or anyone that I engage in conversation with, I want them to take it very seriously. I know what's at stake, and I want you to know what's at stake. Your eternal soul is at stake. Again, we live in the world, but your faith, your belief, these scriptures tell you that there is a life after death. So you want to be in everlasting life after death, after this fleshly death. And it also tells you that there's going to be an everlasting torment after judgment. And it clearly defines in the book of Revelations what that everlasting torment is going to be. And I'm going to leave you with this. If you love your neighbor truly, don't just speak the words, how you doing, neighbor? In your heart, get your heart right. You know, it is, this Bible has been around for, again, thousands of years. People have been preaching from this for thousands of years. They're all different kinds. There are pastors and bishops and elders and archbishops and priests. Everyone has been studying from this for thousands of years, and there are every day there's something new that comes along, and you can go right here in these scriptures and you can find something similar to what is happening right today. I don't think there's a better guide that you can use in your life. And again, sometimes we have to mature into a state to where we understand. I know I did. That's why today I sit here and I try to reach out to as many people as I can. And I'm going to keep reaching. And I'm going to keep reaching. And I'm going to keep reaching because God has given me a vision, and I'm going straight forward with that vision. And again, I will share that with you. My vision is to be able to go from place to place to place, from church to town, to teach and preach. And it doesn't have to be in the church. I'll go to a community. I'll come to your neighborhood because I dare preach his word. And it's for everyone. White, black, brown, green, whatever color you are, whatever religion you are, whatever race you are, I'll come to you. That is a vision that God has given me, and I'm going straight forward with that. And my theme is, as I stated in my last video, I'm going to implement that into every video and every sermon that I do. And leaving you today, I will reiterate it again. I'm getting better all the time, just like you are. Or I'll say we're getting better all the time. We aren't what we ought to be, but we're better than we used to be. You know why? Because we have a made up mind. Thank you, and God bless you.